Welcome to Knowledge Valley for IAS, IFS, IPS. Today we are going to discuss on Vision Magazine May month for polity. So the first topic that we are going to discuss is One Nation, One Ration Card. Why is this in news? As part of the economic relief package amid COVID-19 outbreak, central government has announced the national rollout of One Nation, One Ration Card system in all the states and union territories by March 2021. So we know there was a lot of issues of ration, and there was a lot of issue on the public distribution system since the migrant movement, and that is why the government has decided to speed up. Already this was in news. The government has decided to speed up the One Nation, One Ration Card system. About One Nation, One Ration Card, under this One Nation, One Ration Card system, beneficiary will be able to buy subsidized food grains from any fair price shops across the country using their existing or same ration card that is Aadhaar linked. So what is this One Nation, One Ration Card? You must remember that you can use the same ration card which is linked with Aadhaar, and you can use it all over the country. Currently, under present situation, the PDS, a ration card holder can buy food grains only from fair price shops that has been assigned in the locality in which he or she lives in. Partha Mukhopadhyay Working Group on Migration recommended for portability of PDS and its benefits in 2017. So just you have to remember, Partha Mukhopadhyay was a person who had his working group on migration, and he had recommended for the PDS to be portable. Subsequently, government launched integrated management of public distribution system in April 2018. So just remember Partha Mukhopadhyay and then IMPDS, that is integrated management of public distribution system. Just remember this. IMPDS. So let's see about this scheme, that is the IMPDS scheme. IMPDS is a central sector scheme implemented under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution. Again, I am repeating, IMPDS is a central sector scheme implemented under Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So question can be asked, IMPDS, what is IMPDS and under which ministry? Objectives are implementation of nationwide portability in food grains distribution under the National Food Security Act. So we are going to see National Food Security Act. But for now, just remember IMPDS, it was said by Partha Mukhopadhyay and it is under the Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. It is for the nationwide portability of the National Food Security Act. So three things: Partha Mukhopadhyay, IMPDS and National Food Security Act. Just focus on these three topics. Creation of national level data repository for deduplication of beneficiary data. So this is the IMPDS scheme. It is creation of national level data repository. Use of advanced data analytics techniques to bring about continuous improvements. So this is all about IMPDS, so that the National Food Security Act can be nationwide and the migrants can get the benefit. So now let's go to the article. The new system will identify beneficiary through biometric authentication on electronic point of sale devices installed at FPS. So every fair price shops will have POS, that is electronic point of sale, and their biometric authentication will be done. Biometric authentication is like the thumb impression, or you can say the iris impression, etc. Under this, a migrant will be allowed to buy maximum of 50% of family quota. This is to ensure that the individual are, after shifting to another place does not buy the entire family quota in one go. Once 100% of Aadhaar seeding and 100% installation of EPOS is done, national portability of ration cards will become a reality. Currently, it is enabled in 17 states and UTs. So, the plan is by 2000, we have seen by 2021, March 2021, we will have one nation, one ration card. So, just remember Partha Mukhopadhyay working group, IMPDS, and the National Food Security Act. What are the benefits of, why are we doing all this? Provides intra-state as well as interstate ration card or portability of the ration cards. Interstate and intrastate. Intrastate is within the state, interstate is within the between different states. Interstate portability at IMPDS portal, intrastate at Anna Vitran portal. So the portals are there, IMPDS and Anna Vitran. Anna Vitran portal has been implemented to display electronic transactions made through EPOS. Through EPOS devices for distribution of subsidized food grains to beneficiaries. This portal also shows all India picture of Aadhaar authentication of beneficiaries besides allocated and distributed quantity of food grains up to district level. So what is the meaning of Anna Vitran portal? Just remember, it has been implemented to display electronic transactions made through EPOS devices for distribution of subsidized food grains to beneficiaries. This portal shows all India picture of Aadhaar authentication to beneficiaries besides allocated and distributed quantity of food grains up to district level. So it has, Anna Vitran portal has details of the food grains given, the authentication done, and various data will be there in this portal. Helps to remove bogus ration card holders through an integrated online system. It can control rising food subsidy bill by preventing leakages. So what is the benefits of the IMPDS? First is intrastate and interstate portability. Second is remove bogus ration card holders. Third is control rising food subsidy bill. Okay. What are the challenges in the implementation? So we have seen the positives. Let's see the challenges. First is technological glitches. Aadhaar authentication. Around 85.41% of ration cards have been linked to Aadhaar up until August 2019, still leaving out a significant number. So 85% are linked. So we are waiting for March 2021 when all will be linked. EPOS machines, as per data on the Anna Vitran portal, out of 79,050, only 37,000 fair price shops have EPOS machines as of January 2020. So just remember, the numbers are very crucial, very important. 85.41% is the number of ration cards linked with Aadhaar. And the second thing you must remember, that is total fair price shops in India are 79,000, only 37,000 are linked with EPOS machines. Just remember these numbers. Internet connectivity and reliability. So we know internet penetration is low in India. Poor quality of rural electrification. Survey by Ministry of Rural Development, just remember these numbers, in 2007 indicates that only half of the villages get more than 12 hours of power supply. So the issue is with Aadhaar authentication, EPOS, rural electrification, huge gap in data on patterns of domestic migration. So this will challenge state governments in making appropriate quantities of ration commodities available. So when we don't have the data, how much will a fair price shop keep with them will be an issue with the states. Center-state relations, efforts to align different state implementation policies on food security may be seen an encroachment on the state subjects. Now, giving that is, the fair price shops are actually under the state government. Now, center will take over this. This might create a room for mistrust between central and state governments and require engagement based on principles of cooperative federalism. So that's a challenge again. Disincentivizing provisions for local food habits and needs. So now, since it is controlled by the center, it will only be like the one size fits all, means it will be giving in the fair price shops what the center feels is right all over the country, not taking into consideration the local tastes and the local conditions. In current system, over and above central government's allocation, some states distribute additional food items such as salt, spices and pulses among others as per their capacity and needs. As burden of eligible beneficiaries will be different for every states, new system may disincentivize states from diversifying diets of local people. So what are the challenges? Remember, Aadhaar authentication, EPOS machines, internet connectivity, electricity, data, center-state relation, and local food habits and needs. Now let's see the conclusion. One nation, one ration card scheme has to be across multiple hurdles, has to cross across multiple hurdles to be implemented successfully. Nevertheless, it has potential to achieve increased access to subsidized food by most vulnerable sections of the society. So we have seen in the COVID the issues that were there due to the movement of the migrants. This is the need of the hour, that the migrants should be able to get as much as help from the government as possible. It can prove to be instrumental in bringing the country closer to achieve sustainable development goal number 2, zero hunger. So just remember this number, sustainable development goal number 2, zero hunger. So let's see National Food Security Act 2013. So just remember what we have seen till now. We saw IMPDS, we saw one nation, one ration card, IMPDS, Partha Mukhopadhyay Working Group, and the National Food Security Act, which we are going to see now. So let's see what is the National Food Security Act. This marks a shift in approach to food security from welfare approach to right-based approach. So National Food Security Act gives right to food. So the approach is rights approach. Act legally entitles 75% of rural population and 50% of the urban population under the targeted PDS system. Under NFSA, about 81 crore persons are entitled to buy subsidized food grains, rice at 3 kg, wheat at 2 kg, and coarse grain at 1 kg, 1 rupees per kg. So just remember, 75% rural population, 50% urban population. So total population comes around 67%, and 81 crore persons will be able to get subsidized food grains at 3 rupees per kg, 2 rupees per kg, and 1 rupees per kg. It is operated under joint responsibility of center and state. Center is responsible for allocation of food grains to states, transportation of food grains up to the depots, and providing central assistance for delivery of food grains from FCI to the fair price shops. State governments handle operational responsibility, including identification of eligible families and issue of ration cards. So just remember, central government does the procuring and giving it to the fair price shops, and the state government has to do the identification and the functioning of the fair price shops. Targeted PDS, it was launched in 1997 to focus on poor. Under targeted PDS, beneficiaries are divided into two categories, BPL and APL, that is below poverty line and above poverty line households. And Antyodaya Anna Yojana was launched in 2000. So just remember, IMPDS is Integrated Management Public Distribution System, Management of Public Distribution System. This is a part of One Nation, One Ration Card. TPDS, Targeted Public Distribution System, started in 1997, and Antyodaya Anna Yojana was launched in 2000. It focuses on poorest of the poor families among the BPL beneficiaries. So we saw the importance or the benefits of the um, IMPDS or One Nation One Ration Card. We saw the challenges. Now we saw the National Food Security Act. Government advertisements on social media platforms. Wine News. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has issued draft policy guidelines for empanelment of social media platforms with Bureau of Outreach and Communication for centers paid outreach campaigns. Benefits of using social media. So we know in today's world social media is very important, and a lot of work has been done through social media, and there are a lot of positives of social media, though there are some negatives. But yes, social media, it's the new thing, and it can be used for influencing people, for working for the people, and working in the interest of the weaker section. Now, what are the benefits of using social media? Enhanced outreach. Social media acts as powerful platforms for forming an opinion as well as generating mass support. So, first importance of social media is enhanced outreach. In India, Facebook alone has 210 million users. India also has nearly 400 million smartphone users. So remember these numbers: Facebook 210 million users, and smartphone users are 400 million. So first is enhanced outreach. Second is real-time engagement. Social media releases shackles of time and place. You can engage with people anytime, anywhere. Example, during Libyan crisis, Ministry of External Affairs used social media platforms such as Twitter to assist in locating and evacuating Indian citizens from Libya. Even Knowledge Valley today is giving, you can say, coaching or training students using social media. Targeted approach. Social media platforms also facilitate targeted approach. You can speak to people, you can communicate to people whom you want to or who need your help. So first is enhanced outreach, second is real-time engagement, third is targeted approach. Individual interaction. Social media platform offers ability to connect with each and every individual. Managing perceptions. One big challenge for government is to avoid propagation of unverified facts and frivolous misleading rumors. So they can manage perceptions, present facts to enable informed opinion making. So what are the benefits of social media? First is enhanced outreach, second is real-time engagement, third is target approach, individual interaction, and finally managing perceptions. Before we go ahead about the guidelines, let's see what is Bureau of Outreach and Communication. It was set up in 2017 by integration of erstwhile DAVP, that is Directorate of Advertising and Visual Publicity, and DFP, Directorate of Field Publicity, and Song and Drama Division. So all these things were brought together and formed Bureau of Outreach and Communication. What is the mandate? Branding of government as prime facilitator for people's empowerment and positioning of messages through print, audiovisual, outdoor and digital media to realize the same. About the draft policy guidelines, so we have seen what is Bureau of Outreach and Communication, which was made in 2017. We saw the benefits of using social media. Again, reminding you what was the reason. So Ministry of Information and Broadcasting issued draft policy guidelines so that for empanelment of social media platforms with Bureau of Outreach and Communication, so that the center can do its outreach campaigns through social media. Now let's see what does the draft policy guidelines say. Now the draft policy guideline says need for advertisement on social media. Currently, organic reach of government is limited to only such people who are connected with social media handle of the concerned ministry of department. Thus, there is a need to reach or connect to people who are not connected with social media. So that is what the first policy guideline says: need for reaching to people, various areas, and to the poorest of the poor and to the weaker sections. Definitions. Define social media platform as web or mobile based internet application that allows creation, access and exchange of user generated content, may be in form of text, audio, visual, graphics, animation, etc. First is reach to the people who are not connected. Second is definition of social media, that is web or mobile based internet application that allows creation, access, exchange of user generated content. Third in the policy is eligibility. Social media platform must be under continuous operation since past 6 months and with minimum of 25 million unique user count per month from within India. So what is there in the guidelines? First is the need to reach the each and every person, definition of social media, and eligibility, which is 25 million plus they have to be for the past 6 months. Now let's see the challenges. Which platform to use? That is the first challenge. Given so many platforms, plethora of platforms and even types of social media, so there is a challenge that which platform to use. Who will engage? Most departments have limited capacity to engage with traditional media itself, and since social media demands a deeper and constant interaction, it will be difficult. So who will engage is a second issue. Third is how to engage. Many questions revolve around rules of engagement, like how to create, manage and account, what should be response time, etc. Now the conclusion is in 2012, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Information Technology has released framework and guidelines for use of social media for government organizations. So remember 2012 there was already a guidelines for social media for government organization. Well defined objectives. Objective for use of social media is not just to disseminate information but also to undertake engagement for meaningful public participation. So conclusion is, first guidelines need to be created, which is already there 2012. Well defined objectives not only for the giving information but for public participation. Thus due care must be taken so that people can communicate in their own language. Choosing platforms. Since choices are many, it is essential to identify one or two key platforms. Third is governance structure. Describes rules of engagement for organization, response and responsiveness. It is important to state upfront the scope of response so that expectations are set correctly. Content governance. Content should be adequately addressed. Challenges related to accessibility in Indian language as well as accessibility of content for differently abled. Legal provisions. These must be viewed in accordance to the Right to Information Act, Information Technology Act and 2000 and in IT Amendment Act 2008. And institutionalization. Rules must be established so that all policy announcements are undertaken simultaneously on traditional as well as social media. So conclusion, you must remember 2012 there was a framework and guidelines. Well defined objectives are there. Some suggestions are well defined objectives need to be done not only for giving information but for also public participation so that the people can participate, and secondly in their own language. Choosing a platform is also an important suggestion. It is essential to identify one or two key platforms from which the department may begin interaction. Governance structure also needs to be changed or described so that response and responsiveness is seen, content governance is done, and legal provisions can be changed, amended according to the social media. And finally institutionalization. Okay, so what we saw in this article or this topic was, first we saw government is going to use social media platforms. We saw the benefits of the social media platforms. We saw what is Bureau of Outreach and Communication and the draft policy guidelines, the challenges, and finally the conclusion. Okay, so this was the polity for the May month 2020. Remember, asking questions is the source of all knowledge. Thank you and have a nice